Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to season 2 of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone P.U.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching, creator of the Hormone P.U.Z.L.E method, an infertility warrior, 2-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptom of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the fields of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get started on your road to transformation. I am super excited about today's show. I am talking to Sophia Pavia, whose passion is empowering women to embrace their bodies and achieve their highest levels of health. An unapologetic lover of food, Sophia despises restrictive diets and refuses to food shame. She earned her nutrition degree from Bastyr University, the world's foremost naturopathic medical school. There, she learned to blend science with real-world experience to bring an expert level of care to all women who desire healthy bodies and healthy babies. Specializing in ovulation and general fertility care, Sophia has helped hundreds of women nourish their bodies and build beautiful families at long last. On today's show, we're going to dive into more practical tips around how to have strong ovulation and cervical mucus for fertility and pregnancy. So now let's welcome Sophia to the show. Hey, Sophia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I am happy to be here. I don't get asked to come on people's podcasts much yet. So I think this is something like my third or fourth time doing this.
Oh, wow. Cool. I'm so honored that you agreed to come on. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit more about you, kind of how you got started and tell us your story around working in women's health.
Okay. So it really began, I became a dietitian and I wasn't quite sure what direction I wanted to go in. I had gone to a naturopathic medical school to get my degree. So I knew I wasn't interested in telling people with diabetes to switch to Diet Coke. And I knew I wasn't interested in standing in the VA hospital opening cans of fruit. So I was like, all right, neither of these things are what I want to do. What else is out there? And I was working in corporate nutrition just because I needed a job and that was available. So I was working at this corporate nutrition job, and I just had some friends and family members of friends that needed extra help. And so they would hire me and pay me by the hour to help them get their diet in line. And as that progressed more and more, I started thinking, maybe I have what it takes to actually run a private practice. Maybe I could actually make this my gig. And so I decided that that's what I was going to do. There were some seriously lean years as I figured out what it was I wanted to do. And I was working in mostly sports performance. Because I was a competitive weightlifter and I was all about that, doing that myself. And some of my female sports performance patients, they really liked working with me, but now they're stepping into a space where they wanted to become moms. And so they were like, I know this isn't really what you do, but I love working with you. You really get it. Can you help me? And I was like, well, I don't I don't really know a lot about that. But then I was like, wait, Sophia, step back. Do you know enough about it to help her get headed in the right direction? Great. Well, then, give her what you do have in charge accordingly, because, you're not like the expert in this, but you certainly know a lot more than she does. And
Right.
you can certainly help her start moving in the right direction. So I started doing that and I just got hooked. I
Mm-hmm.
as wonderful as it is working in sports performance and seeing one of your athletes go to the CrossFit games or win a gold medal or whatever, so rewarding. But that is nothing compared to a woman who wants to grow her family finally falling pregnant and having that healthy baby. So the first couple times that happened, I was hooked. And I just found that, I think as you decide on your career, one of the greatest things to do is like, what do you spend your time looking at? Like when you're scrolling on your phone, what's the news article that you pause to read? When you're flipping through magazines at the dentist, what's the one that you stop to, and read the article about? That is the thing that you should start focusing on in your career, because it's what you love reading research about. And I found that I loved learning about this. I couldn't get enough. I was learning about it in my free time. And so I decided to just dive in and start seeing fertility patients more and more and more. And then it just became so big and so busy that now it's my only job and I have a wait list out the wazoo. So here I am.
I love that. That is amazing. And I feel the same way. Like I just lights me up to learn about fertility and hormones and nutrition. And it's amazing. I could research it all day long. So I completely can relate.
And I feel like we just have such an impact. Like this period of time where someone is trying to conceive or becomes pregnant for the first time, you are literally impacting future generations. You are impacting the health and well-being of mankind for the foreseeable future. And that is so valuable. I think that it is just beyond vitally important. And I talk about this on my Instagram platform all the time, is I think trying to conceive is freaking awesome. And I wish that more people tried. I wish that more parents were parents on purpose. I wish that more of the babies being born were being born to parents that really wanted to be parents before they even started trying for a baby. And I'm not saying that it's not possible to be a wonderful mother if you fall pregnant by surprise. Obviously, that happens every single day all around the world. But I just think there's something special and sacred and awesome about deliberately stepping into the motherhood space and trying to conceive. So that's part of why I do it. And I get a lot of blowback about that. The moms who fall pregnant on purpose or fall pregnant by accident do not like to hear that message. But I don't care. I think it's beautiful and sacred and awesome. And I love that women want to become pregnant and I love being a part of it. So there you go.
There you go.
That's what I have to say about that.
I love it. I love it. And I don't think you're taking anything away from the parents that fell pregnant on accident, but I agree.
Well, they do.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, definitely trying to conceive is just a beautiful thing. And I love it. And I completely agree. So let's dive a little bit into nutrition. I know you work with this on a regular daily basis. So
that's all I do, baby.
Yep. And this is one I get pushed back on a lot. Like, does nutrition really affect fertility? Like, is that really true? So talk to me about that. How does nutrition impact fertility?
Well, mainly this is how I like to describe it. So your body, above all else, wants to survive, wants to stay alive. And so everything you eat, do, breathe, sleep, encounter, your body has kind of an order of operations of how to keep you alive. Step 1. Thriving is step 2. Reproducing, step 3. Okay. Yes. Your body wants to survive. And so when nutrition is subpar, let's say we're not getting enough nutrients or enough calories, or we're getting too much of some substances that maybe irritate, bother, or even maybe low level toxic in our body.
Mm-hmm.
What our body does first and foremost is survive. So your body will protect brain, heart, liver, lungs, like wants to protect and nourish the organs that are keeping you alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that is beautiful. That's wonderful. That is why we're here, because our ancestors had this wonderful safety mechanism built into their DNA to where they were able to survive above all else. Well, once your survival needs are met, then we kind of move into thriving space.
Mm-hmm.
Like now your skin can do well. Now your teeth are doing better. Now your eyes, now your intestines, and all your hair, like these things that are not core essential organs to your survival. Like people have no eyes and they still survive. People have, well, not no skin and live for very long. That's actually a really vital organ. It's a super vital organ, but no hair. Okay. People have big sections of their intestines resected and they still survive and go off. You can't have a big part of your heart resected or a big part of your lungs resected and do fine. So these organs that are kind of more like, this is where your body sends nutrients when things are going well and you're in times of plenty. And very last on the totem pole are your reproductive organs. Because if your body senses that there's some sort of shortage, famine, war, attack, something bad happening, bringing a brand new teeny baby along is not the answer. That's not going to help. Anyone that's had a brand new teeny baby or been pregnant knows that it's not easy. That's not the optimum time to be running and fighting for your life. So if there is a shortage or an excess of these stressors like toxic stress or emotional stress or illness, your body will kind of put your reproductive organs on the back burner, and it won't always funnel to them all the nutrients that they need. So when we're talking about fertility, we are truly talking about optimal nutrition, because your body is going to always prioritize brain, heart, liver, lungs, like these vital organs. And very last on the totem pole come your sex organs, your reproductive organs. So nutrition greatly impacts fertility, because if there's any sort of shortage or illness or overwhelming situation, fertility is usually the first thing to cut out. I always joke that the original form of birth control was famine and war.
Right.
And that's what's controlled the population up until now.
Yep.
And so if your body is experiencing something that primally feels a lot like famine or war, when really what's going on is dieting or a crappy boss that's riding your back all day, your fertility systems can really suffer.
For sure.
So that's kind of the long and short of how nutrition impacts fertility, though, there's a million other ways about it, because believe it or not, a part of your body's urge to survive is its desire to pass on its genetics to the next generation. So it's not like a button that flips on and off, and the day that you skip lunch, your fertility shuts off. It doesn't work like that, because biologically, our bodies are driven to reproduce, just like any other mammal out there. And because of that, it's not always so linear, this thing we're talking about here. But that's pretty much how, if you want to know biologically how nutrition impacts fertility, there you go.
There you go. I love it. And let's dive a little deeper into that too and talk about gut health, because I get this one a lot.
Okay.
I'm eating super healthy, but I'm still having issues with my fertility, or I'm still having symptoms. My ovulation is off. My periods are throwing a bunch of symptoms at me. And, and I'm sure you talk about this too, but you could be eating the healthiest foods in the world, but if your gut's not optimized and you're not digesting appropriately, you're not absorbing appropriately, then you're still going to have issues. So let's talk about that. How important is our gut health?
It's pretty important. And it's not the main issue for everyone. I want to play devil's advocate here for a second, because gut health tends to be, everybody's like, oh, that's it. That's the key. That's the key to health. And for some people it super is, but it's not always the only thing. And sometimes, gut health can be so complicated for some people, and there is bacterial overgrowth and yeast issues, and there are intestinal permeability problems, and there is a whole lot going on. But for the majority of the women I see, when we stop and just work on the core issues of gut health, like slow down and chew your food, drink enough water throughout the day, and get at least 30 grams of fiber. When we look at those, when we just start doing that, I would say like 90% of gut issues just evaporate.
Yes.
Suddenly, we're not having to eat 15 Tums after every meal. And we're not driving our partner out of the bedroom with toxic gas that they can't even bear to be around. Or they're not driving us out of the bedroom with toxic gas. Or some of these painful constipation, diarrhea, some of these really difficult digestive situations that have you reaching for every over-the-counter probiotic and medication you can find. So much of that is just fixed, really, when we start eating enough of the right foods, chewing our food properly, and staying hydrated.
I love it. So
sometimes
simple.
It just comes down to that. I mean,
Yeah.
and listeners, if you're like, oh my gosh, that's so not me, I've been doing that for years and I still have diarrhea and heartburn and bloat, and it's not the answer for everyone. And some of us need extra help. And seeing a specialist in gut health is a great idea. But for most women who are trying to conceive, we're not looking at very complicated digestive problems. We're mostly looking at, we're eating processed foods, we're eating foods that we don't really chew, we're eating too quickly, we're not drinking enough fluids throughout the day, and we're not eating enough fiber. That's pretty much what it comes down to, from where I stand, at least.
Yes, and I agree for sure. So let's dive into ovulation. This is a question I get a lot. Obviously you have to ovulate to get pregnant, and ovulation is one of our
Believe it or not, that is a radical statement.
Right? Right?
I'm going to make that a tweet. You have to ovulate to get pregnant. Period. No egg, no baby.
Right? But we want to make sure that we're having, strong and healthy ovulation. And you talk a lot about this. So how do we do this? How do we make sure we have strong ovulation?
Well, the first way to know whether or not you're ovulating strongly is to monitor your cycle. So this is really, really important, because sisters, this is free fertility information coming to you every single day. Your body speaks to you daily about your fertility, and it's really not very difficult to crack the code. There's just a few things you have to observe regularly in order to understand the messages your body is telling you. And the first step to ovulating robustly is to know whether or not you're ovulating robustly. How can you possibly know this? Really, I saw a statistic recently that only 3% of women on the planet can accurately know whether or not they're ovulating.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And there's so much misinformation out there. I mean, keep in mind, we are talking about women on the planet, most of which don't even have access to clean water, let alone, a period tracking app or basal body thermometer. Like they can't even read. They maybe don't even know where babies even come from.
Right.
No one's even told them what their organs even are. And worse than that, a lot of times in cultures, they say it's evil, bad, and dirty to touch yourself or look at your organs and your body parts. You shouldn't be doing those things because it's a sin or something like that. And so a lot of women around the world in impoverished developing nations, that's the story. But in the Western world, where we have access to things like clean water and we know how to read and we can have a thermometer and things like that, we don't really see that much better of ovulation rates. We see a lot of women be like, okay, well then I need to pee on these strips to know if I'm ovulating. And that can be expensive and cumbersome and wildly inaccurate. And then we see a lot of misinformation out there. Like I made a post or a reel recently about knowing when you ovulate. And I had women coming on there saying, I always feel when I ovulate. I can feel it in my ovary. And I cited a study where I was like, actually, that's a myth. There was a study done where they monitored, women and had them mark when they felt they were ovulating. And then they did an ultrasound, and almost all of them were wrong. They weren't ovulating when they thought they were. And that's because, I mean, come on, your belly, you got a lot going on in there. There's muscles and tendons and ligaments and many, many different organs that are all moving and shifting. And if you're supposed to discern every sensation down there, it is very easy to have a strained muscle or a gas bubble. And honestly, the hormones that shift toward and after ovulation, they can cause things like gas and constipation anyway. Mm-hmm. So it could be that you've already ovulated like 2 days ago, and all that progesterone is just making some gas bubble around in your belly. And so I was like, actually, it's a common myth. Mm-hmm. And this woman was like, I have 6 children and I conceived them all when I felt I was ovulating. Oh. So actually it's not a myth. I was like, wow, good for you. Coming on to the space of women who are trying to conceive, bragging about how easy it is for you to ovulate and how you have 6 children.
Oh my goodness.
Why are you here?
Right?
I'm sorry, why are you here?
Right.
This is not for you. Go find Instagram for women with 6 children, not for women who are struggling to conceive and crying their eyes out at a negative pregnancy test every month. This is not for you. Not everything online is just for you. So, anyway, and you know what? Some people, not 100% of the people were wrong in that study, but almost everyone. Mm-hmm. So if almost everyone gets a false positive on this feel your ovulation test, would we say that that is accurate or a good way for us all to be trying to figure out when we ovulate?
No.
No. It'd be like if there was a pregnancy test that only a few women got positives on when they were actually pregnant. Would we say that was a very good test to use? No.
Nope.
So trying to feel when you ovulate based on sensations in your belly is a loser's game, because you know what? Maybe you do feel it. I don't doubt that woman felt it. She's got 6 kids to prove it. Good for her. Not best practices for everyone. So when it comes to knowing whether or not you're ovulating robustly, we want you to be looking at your cervical mucus, your cervical position, your basal body temperature every single day, because that tells a story about ovulation. That tells a story about when you ovulate, how many days between when your period began and when you ovulate, how many days between when you ovulate and your period starts again. It lets us know if you're making fertile cervical mucus around ovulation or not. It lets us know if some of the symptoms that you're having are related to ovulation or your period, or if they're just muscular and digestive. Mm-hmm. It lets us know whether or not you're making enough progesterone to support a healthy pregnancy. I mean, it maybe wouldn't tell us definitively, but it would give us some signs that we need to dig deeper and do more testing if things aren't looking good. It's free information that can tell us all of this. And best thing about it is it can tell you what path to go down if you need to start looking for answers. Because as you know, with this unexplained infertility diagnosis you got, it's like being in a woods with no paths. Which way do you go? Every single step looks about as good as the other. When everything's an option, nothing is. Yes. When there's no clear path to go down to look for answers. I mean, even if there's a clear path and it's the wrong path, it's at least a place to start where you can figure out what's down that road. And when you get down it, if it isn't where you want to go, you can go back. So that is what monitoring your fertile signs can do for you. Best case scenario, it tells you when you're ovulating, you have sex on that day or the days leading up to it, you get pregnant like that. And then you're the lady on Instagram bragging about how easy it is to get pregnant. Congratulations to you.
Yes.
And if not, it gives you and your healthcare team a clear road and places to start looking for answers if you don't get pregnant easily.
For sure. And I find that a lot too, is people don't even realize, one, like you said, when they're ovulating. And so they're having sex at the wrong times, and then they're not getting pregnant. And I'm like, because you're not even doing it around ovulation. Like, it's never going to happen. Again, you have to ovulate and have an egg to get pregnant. So,
you do. And you need a sperm to be near that egg. So, and some people are like, well, we just have sex every day, so that's how we solve that. And I'm like, yeah, that's good if you're trying to conceive for like 3 weeks.
Right.
But any more than that, no.
Right.
You are going to be so burnt out, so bored in the bedroom. You're going to be so tired. And so it's just going to make the act of sex with your partner a freaking chore. And it's going to make your relationship suffer, truly. So I don't think that that's a very viable plan, especially because even when ovulation is timed well, not every egg is a queen and not every sperm is champ. So sometimes sperm and egg do get together because you timed it well, but something was weird and some just didn't quite go right. You had a goofy egg or a goofy sperm, and it just couldn't quite make a baby. And so that cycle was going to be a bust no matter what, just because sometimes we've got imperfect eggs and imperfect sperm. Even the healthiest people have this happen. Not every single egg and every single sperm is a champ. So when we're doing this, let's just have sex every day. We know we had ovulation because I've had sex every day for the past 5 weeks. I've had to have ovulated sometime in there. Even then, even if you did, it might have been that cycle, things just were a little wonky. And so now we're going into a next cycle or a next cycle and a next cycle. And are you really going to maintain this sex every day?
Yeah.
For months on end?
Sounds exhausting.
I can tell you right now, I'm a military wife and that could never happen.
Right.
Have we even been in the same room for an entire month ever? Right. Well, we were after my baby was born.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, and I can tell you what, wasn't sex every day then.
Yeah.
That's
right.
For sure.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about cervical mucus, because I feel like we don't talk enough about it. And I find with my clients, as I'm sure you do the same, they've heard about it, but they don't know exactly what they're looking for. What's the most fertile cervical mucus? So let's dive into that. What should it look like? Kind of, consistency and
So I actually stepped into a brave place and I made a reel on Instagram where I showed my actual real cervical mucus.
Oh my goodness.
Not coming out of my cervix,
Right.
But like after I had used the bathroom, I noticed some mucus and I just put it on my, had it on my fingers and I took a video of it so that you could see. And of course, my little brother was like, "You are disgusting. Like, why would you ever do this? I hate you. I'm burning my phone now. I'm dead." But the rest of the world was like, "Thank you. Finally, I can see what this looks like," versus sketches and descriptions. So if you're wondering and you want to see the real stuff and you're not squeamish, head on over to my Instagram page, which I'm sure we'll tag in the show notes, and go to my reels and look at this reel where you can see actual real cervical mucus. Okay. And then after that, if you don't want to do that, or if that's difficult, I would say look for anything that is more slippery than what you usually find. So it takes an entire cycle of checking your cervical mucus every day in order to start getting the messages that it sends you, because you may never have cervical mucus that looks exactly like mine. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't get pregnant. It just means your body's a little different. So if you're only looking for something that looks exactly like what I made that video of, you may look forever and not find it. And you don't have to have that exact situation in order to become pregnant. What we are looking for is change over time. So I want listeners, if you're wondering about your cervical mucus, after you poop, every day. Wipe from, hopefully you're pooping every day, ladies. Also, that's
Yes.
step number one. Okay. Or number two, you get it? You get it? That's number two. Number two means poop when you're talking to children. So wipe from front to back. As you wipe from your vulva across your perineum towards your anus, pause, slowly wipe, and notice how it feels. Is it dry? Is it slippery? Is it wet? And then look at your TP. What do you see? Is it shiny? Is it opaque? Does it look like somebody put a little squirt of lotion on there? Is there just nothing at all? Is it red? Is there blood? These are the things that I want you to look at and write down, either in an app or just a little notebook that you keep in your bathroom. If you're going in the same place every day, keep track of what you see. Touch it. Touch your fingers to your vulva. You don't have to go sweeping deep inside your vagina, but touch your fingers to your vulva. Pull, give a little swirl with your fingers, and then take a look at what you see. Bring it up between your fingers to your face, kind of as if you were doing like a ducky shadow puppet, and look at what you see. Is it crumbly and dry? Is it slippery and wet? Does it just kind of look like water? All of these things have meaning. So I want you to write this down and keep track of it day by day, and it will start to form a pattern. You will find that the beginning of your cycle, it's red. You're on your period. It's blood. When the blood dries up and you're not bleeding anymore, you go through the most dry time. That's when your hormones are at the lowest. So that's when you'll wipe and you'll really not feel much of anything. Almost the toilet paper feels kind of scratchy across your perineum because it's so dry. Then as things pick up, you'll start noticing a little bit more watery, a little bit wetter, and then you'll see eventually what for you will be peak cervical mucus. For my body and for a lot of bodies, it's almost like snot. I hate that word, but like the white of a raw egg, that kind of stretchy, really slippery stuff. And that is telling you your body's getting ready to ovulate. That's the good right there. That's the magic. That's the magic ingredient. That's the baby sauce. That's the stuff you want. So when you see that, that's where you want to get busy and start having lots of sex. But after you see the slippery stuff, after you ovulate, your hormones shift yet again. And the cervical mucus will begin to thicken and become more dry. That's where we see it go from like egg white to kind of now like a rubber cement to consistency. Now even further to like a lotiony, then even further to like crumbly. And then we might even see dry again before we have our period. And then we see blood because we're menstruating. And that's the beginning of your cycle yet again, if you aren't pregnant. So that is the pattern of what you see, but there are variations of normal within that. What's normal for you, sister? You gotta check it to see. And then once you're checking it, if you're like, I am seeing egg white cervical mucus, that snotty stuff, for a few days and then not for a few days, and then seeing it again and then not seeing it, and seeing again and not seeing it. And then I don't get my period for like 45 days. Well, that gives us some information right there. That tells us that your body is trying so hard to ovulate, but having a really hard time actually popping off that egg. That gives us a path to go down to start investigating why this may be happening. If you are seeing this fertile cervical mucus and your period is starting 5-6 days later, that's giving us some information right there. That's letting us know about whether or not we're seeing a quality ovulation and whether or not we're making enough progesterone. If you're never seeing it at all, and you go from your one period to the next period in like 21 days or less, it could be that you're ovulating while you're still bleeding. Some women ovulate while they're still bleeding from menstruation, and that's okay. You can still get pregnant during that time. But we need to know that so that we're timing sex well. So all of these things let us know potentially, and these are just a few examples of some issues that women commonly encounter that have very effective treatments, but we won't know that there's a problem unless we're looking at the signs your body's telling you.
Mm. Yes, I love it. I love it. Definitely tracking, so very important. So let's talk myths. We kind of talked a little bit earlier about some myths, but what are some other myths that you hear that you want to debunk?
Let's debunk the myth that every single thing you see online is just for you.
Yeah.
There's a phenomenon, ladies, and it's called social media, where you can go on there and you can see things that have nothing to do with you. And just because it doesn't reflect your unique lived experience does not mean that it's wrong, evil, bad, shameful, bigoted, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It can mean that it's for someone, not you. And so you can just keep moving until you find something that is for you and that you do like.
Yes, amen to that.
Yeah.
I always say, like, if you don't like it, if it's not for you, just keep scrolling. It's not, there's no reason to be mean or hateful because you don't like something online.
Yeah, or to be like, how dare you say something that's contrary to my lived experience?
Right.
Something different than this happened to me, and you're shaming me because you said that what happened to me is not what happens for everyone.
Right.
Yes. And this also goes for podcasts, y'all. If you're listening to this and you're like, this Sophia is so annoying, don't come on to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast and tell them how much you hate me. Just go to a different episode. Just go to a different one. You don't have to cancel this podcast because you didn't like me.
Yeah. No emails, please. No hateful emails.
I'm mostly being like joking right now. So myths debunked. Let's debunk the myth that you can get pregnant any day of your cycle. No. You have to have sperm and egg together to become pregnant, which means you need to be ovulating, or you need to be ovulating sometime in the near future in order to get pregnant from sex. So that is a myth. We were told when we were teens that you can get pregnant any day of your cycle. And really what they meant is any day of the month, any given woman may be able to become pregnant. So we can't look at the calendar and be like, oh, it's September 29th. That means I can't get pregnant today, because on the 29th of every single month, every woman out there can't get pregnant. That is not how it works. Women are on different cycles. And so if we took a sample of 1,000 women, some of them would ovulate at any given point on the calendar. So of 1,000 women, we'd have 3 or 4 of them ovulating on the first day of the month, 5 or 6 ovulating on the second day of the month, and down and down and down the line it goes. So telling teenagers don't have sex without a condom, even if it's whatever day of the month you imagine is fine, you can still get pregnant, is not completely irresponsible. But what we've kind of taken from that is if you have sex without a condom, even once, at any time in your life, you will become pregnant. And that is not true.
Exactly not true. I always say I wish I could go back to like 7th grade, sex ed class and teach about periods, teach about when we can get pregnant, all of it, how to read our body signs. So we just didn't learn that, which is so unfortunate.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm changing that. I'm
too.
actually launching a course called Ovulation Unlocked.
Oh.
So if you want to become pregnant and you're wondering whether or not you ovulate, follow me on Instagram, because I am launching a course that you can take at any time. It's totally self-paced, and it's all about all these fertile signs that I was just telling you about. You can use it whether you're trying to become pregnant or you're trying to avoid. Obviously, I'm gearing it towards trying to become pregnant because that's my audience, but the same information works both ways. So instead of making sure you have sex on your fertile days, if you're not ready for a baby just yet, those would be the days you would want to avoid or use a barrier or have fun with each other in a way that doesn't involve penetration. So because I do have a lot of women that are like, I want to have a baby this year, but I don't want to be pregnant today.
Mm.
And I don't want to, I want to get my IUD out, or I don't want to keep taking birth control pills, or I don't want to keep getting this Depo shot. But I don't want to be pregnant just yet. What can I do? And that's when I'm like, oh, well, the same information works for if you're trying to avoid.
Yes.
So I am changing that one woman at a time by launching this course. And I plan on, as the years roll on, hopefully making a version that's marketable for teens, where we can understand our cycles and know what's going on. And I think a big reason we stopped doing this is because we became afraid that if we talked about our bodies, it would get us all hot and bothered, and we'd end up promoting teen sex. But that is not true. And the truth of the matter is, you can train children about their bodies. You can train them from a very young age. And in fact, we see that it's actually much more protective, that even from a very young age, if children are even just taught the biological names for their body parts, they are much less likely to be abused. They're much less likely to enter into sexual relationships non-consensually, or before they feel ready, or even in what we may deem an irresponsible manner, because they have more autonomy in that area. They understand what things are. And that extends all the way into the fertility space, teaching young women and young men about how everybody's bodies work empowers them to be able to kind of demystify this. They're not going to be as, I think they're not going to be like as curious and as, because they understand more now, and they're not, it's not this mystery and this risky gamble. It's like, you know what's going on.
For sure. I love it. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk practical tips. What can we do starting today to make sure we have strong ovulation and to optimize our fertility and hormones? So we'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan. Hey, Sophia, welcome back.
We're back.
Yay. So let's talk some quick tips. We talked the first half about how to have, what to look for to see if we're ovulating, but how do we have strong ovulation? Like, is there a couple of things that we can do holistically from home that will encourage this?
So this is widely variable from woman to woman when we're talking about ovulation problems. Okay. If there are problems, the solutions are many, many different things. But what should we all be doing to just kind of set a great foundation for healthy ovulation? That I can tell you right now, because that's the same for every woman across the board, just about. The first step is to eat enough. Eating enough nutritious food at that. Yes, it is vital to eat enough calories. That is step one. But even beyond that, we need to be eating food that really nourishes our fertility systems, which means instead of having calories from processed seed oils and refined grains, fast food, soda pop, sugary, corn syrupy stuff, instead eating lots of brightly colored fruits and vegetables, plenty of protein, and fats from healthy natural sources. So that's like chicken thighs and butter and whole milk dairy and a ribeye steak, or beef that has some fat on the ends. pork, sausage, think of like a sausage that not with like nitrates and a bunch of crap like that, but that actually has like a good fat content. Ground beef with like 85% lean. We're talking that nuts and seeds and avocados. These are all great fat sources. So we want to make sure that we're eating plenty of fat. Your ovaries love fat. We need lots of it. So lots of protein, lots of fat, brightly colored fruits and vegetables every day. And we do need to eat some carbs. So being on a very strict no carb diet is not healthy for your ovaries. And for some of us, it can actually send us into anovulation, meaning it shuts off ovulation entirely because your body thinks it's starving. So eating some carbohydrate. I always like to say that you should decorate with carbs. They should be the smallest part of your plate and be kind of like an accent, meaning you have lots of stir-fried beef and broccoli with sesame seeds and sesame oil, and then you do a handful sprinkle of steamed rice on top instead of a big bowl of steamed rice that we've put a little bit of beef and broccoli on top of. So this is like a bowl of chunky meatball marinara with lots of eggplant and peppers in the sauce on top of a bed of wilted greens, and then a handful of rotini pasta on top instead of a big bowl of pasta with some sauce and meatballs and really not many vegetables. So we want to kind of flip it. We do need to eat carbs. They are not the enemy, but having meals that are primarily carb is not helpful for fertility.
I love it. You're making me so hungry right now. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go make some spaghetti with all this veggie.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to eat that tonight too.
Yes. So is there any foods you kind of dove in a little bit on things we should stay away from, but is there anything else that you're like, that is really detrimental to your gut health, to your overall fertility and health?
If there was anything I would tell you to beware of and just to limit your portions of, but you don't need to avoid entirely like it's some sort of poison, but really limit your quantities of, I would say, processed seed oils. So that's like sunflower, safflower, canola, vegetable, peanut, soy, corn, these really, really highly processed seed oils. They tend to take the place of healthier fats in our lives. We need lots of fat to ovulate, but when we eat them from those sources, they cause more inflammation in our bodies, which is an enemy of fertility. They cause our cells to have kind of a difficult time absorbing sugar from our bloodstream. It kind of sticks the door so that it's harder for the insulin to open up cells and let fuel inside. So we can end up having more insulin resistance. And they can actually get kind of stuck in the cell membranes of these developing eggs as we're trying to get pregnant. So listen, if you're like using a barbecue sauce and you're using like 2 tablespoons of it, and one of the ingredients is corn oil, like how much corn oil are you really eating? Okay. Not a lot. So don't feel like you have to like scour your condiments and get rid of anything that's got the teeniest bit of soy oil in it. Like you don't need to go crazy like that. But when you're doing the cooking, you're making the dressing, you're making the sauce, sticking to whole food fats like that come from nuts, that come from avocado is a good one, olive oil, butter, lard, tallow, coconut oil, even some like toasted sesame oil, that can be good too. There are a lot of fats that you can use, but we want fats that have good nutrition in them because we want your body to be absorbing all these fat soluble vitamins. So doing your best to not cook with or consume a lot of factory processed fats and oils can be really helpful. So take a look, and most of this comes in the form of like packaged food items. So if you're eating like a Little Debbie snack cake or like a Costco muffin, God, they're so good though. Every time I'm at Costco, I'm like, let's get these muffins. The only thing that holds me back is you have to buy like 50 muffins and they're freaking huge. And just me and my husband at home. And I'm like, I can't take the pressure from all these muffins. I can't do it. Like I need to eat like one every meal and I can't. Anyway, Costco muffins are damn delicious. But if you look at the ingredients, they're really loaded with these processed oils. So processed baked goods that are like shelf stable. Go to your local bakery and get like a real muffin that's made with butter and like, oh, delicious. Go for one of those if you like muffins.
Yes.
Get
or or even making your own. Like I have so many recipes in my cookbook that's like, healthy pumpkin muffin, healthy double chocolate. Like you can totally make your own and it's not that hard.
You can. Though sometimes it's nice to be like, I didn't make this. I bought this.
True.
Aren't I bougie?
Right.
As somebody who was super poor for a really long time, being able to eat things that I didn't have to make myself makes me feel like I'm a queen.
Yes.
Anyway, processed seed oils would probably be one of the main things to avoid. And then I would also add to that just kind of like meaningless sugar. And when I say meaningless sugar, you don't have to never eat dessert. But when we're looking at foods that aren't dessert, that are really loaded with sugar, you can end up eating lots and lots of sugar by the time the day is done and you weren't even really trying to. And so then by the time you get to that dessert that you want, you're already way past the amount of sugar that's healthy to consume in a day. And again, this is hidden places like the bread in a Subway sandwich. That bread actually can't even be categorized as bread outside of the US because it's got so much sugar. They make you call it a pastry. So like in Europe, Subway, they don't let them call it fresh bread because they're like, this isn't bread. This is like a donut. This is so loaded with sugar. So
crazy.
Watching out for things like that. Take a look at ingredients. Look at what you are eating, and just little things can add up, sister. Let me tell you. Like in the morning, that protein waffle from the freezer that you're using, look at the ingredients. Is it like first ingredient pea protein, second ingredient 5 kinds of sugar? You could be eating quite a bit of sugar without realizing it. Same thing with, I recommend avoiding sweetened beverages, just pretty much as a rule, unless you're doing something special. Stay away from sweetened beverages, artificially sweetened or otherwise. I see a lot of women pretty much having a milkshake first thing in the morning and calling it a coffee. And it's got 5 pumps of peppermint or toffee nut or whatever. And they end up having a coffee that is so, so sweet and so laden with either artificial sweeteners, which bring their own set of problems, or with actual corn syrup and sugar. So avoiding sweetened beverages and excess amounts of processed sugar. So if you're gonna eat sugar, do it on purpose. Like eat a brownie, eat a muffin, have ice cream, something that you love and you're deliberately eating because you love the taste of it, versus like, I don't really care what kind of marinara sauce I use. I just bought this one because it was on sale and I didn't even realize the second ingredient was corn syrup. And here you are having as much sugar as if you ate a chocolate chip cookie, but you're thinking you're healthy because you're using pasta sauce.
Right.
So
yes.
Look for sneaky sugar.
Yes, I
Avoid
agree.
the sneaky sugar.
For sure. Well, I could talk to you all day long, but we do have to wrap up. So tell everybody where they can find you, maybe about your programs and
So right now I have 2 programs available. I have my Fertility Nutrition Foundations course, which is I'm going to run one more time in 2021, which is going to be towards the end of October, just to help you get your body ready for baby in 2021 and to kind of step into the holiday season ready to rock and not, going face first into Christmas cookies for 6 weeks straight.
Right.
And then I also have my Ovulation Unlocked course, which is going to be launching in about 3 weeks. So I don't know when you're going to be releasing this episode.
Yes, mid-October.
Okay, so it should be right around then.
Come
find me on Instagram. It is at ttc.nutritionist. That is me, Sophia Pavia. find me on Instagram, and you will be able to find all of my products and services.
I
Okay?
love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Any
Well,
final?
thanks so much for having me
Yeah.
on.
Thank you. Thank you. Any final thoughts before we close?
My final thought is that it is awesome and beautiful and sacred that you want to be a mom, and I love it. Don't let the naysayers tell you that there is no room on this planet for your baby. Don't let people tell you that it is selfish, evil, wrong, or bad to become pregnant, because our world needs more babies that were thought out and cared for and nourished from before they were even conceived. And we are not so overrun on this planet that we don't have room for your precious little baby, because who knows who your baby can be. You can love and cherish and help your baby and train them and grow them up to be the person who ends our dependence on fossil fuels, who cures cancer, who changes the world. And that is why your baby needs to be born. That is why it is wonderful that you want to be a mom. And so people can crap on that all day. I don't care, sister. I am in your corner cheering you on.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome.
So fun talking to you. And thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone Puzzle podcast. Until next time, bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at coachkayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alerts, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. So make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at coachkayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.